So my child has a cold or the flu. What should I do next? In this video, I've got you covered. We will talk today about what it means when your child has a cold or flu, and in the next video, we're going to go over all of the natural ways to help make your child feel better when they have the cold or flu. So let's get into it. My name is Dr. Erica Smith, and I'm a pediatric naturopathic physician, and I help families stay healthy naturally. The most common question I get from moms is what to do if their child is ill. It can be very scary, especially for first-time parents, because those symptoms and watching our child sort of be uncomfortable can be really, really painful. And it makes us want to take action. But before we get into the details of cold and flu, I think it's helpful to learn a little bit more about the immune system. And I have reviewed this in other videos, but I like to review it here because I think the more you understand about exactly what's happening in the immune system, the less scary a lot of the symptoms seem. Most of the symptoms that we're familiar with when our child has a cold or flu are actually signs of a robust immune system that's working well. Basically, the immune system is a fortress around our body with sort of guards. Those are the immune cells at certain points of entry. So that would be like at our nose, our eyes, our ears, along our digestive tract, and our mouth. And these guards are patrolling all the time for any type of infection. And if there is an infection or if there's an invader, a microbe, their job is to send an alarm. The guards sort of call the rest of the immune system into action, and the action of the immune system, that activation, is what we call symptoms. So these are things like red eyes, runny nose, cough, fever. These are all things that the immune system is doing to either alert other immune cells that it's time to take even a stronger action or to help flush things out of the system. If you want to learn more about fever, you can check the playlist because I have some other videos that goes more into depth about fever. Very often, children will have large responses, robust responses to an invader. And part of this is because their immune system, particularly for young kids, is immature. And the more times it experiences an illness, the more efficient it is at responding. So little kids will really have big symptoms. Sometimes they can spike really high fevers, get a lot of digestive upset, have lots of mucus and lots of coughing. And what you'll notice is as kids get older or as they're exposed to more things, very often those immune responses will not be as robust. If you compare how often a preschooler gets sick versus how often a high schooler gets sick, you can see that over time the immune system sort of becomes more efficient at responding. It's not that high schoolers are exposed to less things, it's that their immune systems have really been trained to identify and eliminate microbes quickly without a lot of immune symptoms. So for our younger kids, we really don't have to be so scared of symptoms once we understand that it's really just the immune system doing as designed, alerting the rest of the body that there's an invader, activating so that it can kill or neutralize that invader, and helping our system flush these invaders out. So in that way, I want to kind of flip the way we think about symptoms, right? Symptoms of a cold and flu are actually a good thing. They're actually a sign that your child's immune system is working really, really well. Getting sick periodically is actually pretty healthy. It's a normal part of immune development, and so it's really nothing to be scared of. That being said, watching our little kid with runny nose, fever, cough, body aches, chills can really be distressing. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what to do in those situations. And in the next video, we're going to talk about ways to help treat those symptoms. But first, let's talk about what actually is a cold. Like what is happening when your child gets a cold? And how is a cold different from the flu? So cold is really just a term used to describe a lot of things like runny nose, cough. It's any type of infection that causes these symptoms. And they're very, very easy to get, particularly in the winter time. So they usually caused by a virus. It's passed through, touching other fluids or someone coughing on you. The symptoms usually are runny nose, congestion, sore throat, cough. Sometimes headache, sometimes digestive changes. Flu is also a virus that's very easily transmitted. The difference is that with a flu, you will also see fever and some sort of like serious fatigue and body aches. That's what makes it a little bit different. If you've learned something so far, I'd love for you to like and subscribe so that you can be notified when I upload new content. Okay, so let's talk more about this video. So the immune system is now mounting a response to fight off the microbial infection, and that's what's causing the symptoms in your child. Kids are most likely to get a cold or flu during opportunistic times, meaning times when they're run down. Some of the things that will help prevent your children from getting sick are basic things like making sure they get enough rest, making sure they have enough hydration, and also making sure that they're eating good, nutritious foods. It's during periods of stress when kids tend to get sick. So this might be if they haven't been getting enough sleep, if they've just moved, they've moved classrooms, there's some sort of stressor. Also can happen when there's another illness. So if you ever had a child who, gets a cold, and then that cold, the immune system is working on that cold, and then the next week they get the flu. It's because the immune system was already kind of occupied and stressed working on one microbe, and then sort of an opportunistic one kind of piles on top. I live in the Northeast, so colds tend to come more, like August, September through mid-winter. The flu tends to be really more of a winter time illness. However, you can get colds and flu all year. And depending on where you live, the months might differ some. In healthy children, a normal cold will last about 7 to 10 days. It doesn't generally go longer than that, and if it does, then you want to see your practitioner. The flu tends to last for less amount of time, maybe 4 to 7 days, but because the flu has fever and body aches, that's the one that tends to be a little bit more distressing and oftentimes will cause children to miss school. Okay, so that is kind of what I call my intro to cold and flus. In the next videos, we're going to talk about ways to naturally treat cold and flus, ways to support the immune system, and ways to get our kiddos feeling back to themselves super quickly. See you in the next video.